Hi guys, and welcome back to Ashley Main Makes and the Sunday Sewing Circle. I'm so happy to be here again this evening. Please say hello down below and tell me what you're working on. I'd love to hear. So today I am going to continue on working on the Charm Artist Apron. We did start this last week, but we are continuing on, and no worries if you didn't see last week. We are just working on the skirt this week. My chat decided last week that I was going to do French seams on the skirt, so we are going to go ahead and do that today. So that's mostly what I'm going to be doing. So it's very exciting, and I'm very happy to be here. So again, please say hello. Oh, hey Serena, thank you for joining us again. Oh, excellent. Doing some hemming. Yeah, perfect thing to work on. The sucky chores. Serena has another great channel here on YouTube. So, alright, so I'm just going to go ahead. We're going to set up the machine. I didn't get that far this evening. I didn't realize that I didn't have my colors switched out. But I do have my bobbin wound, so everything's good. Just to get started here as everybody's like filtering in. But yeah, so we're going to do some French seams tonight. I'm going to do some French seam pockets, which is going to be somewhat exciting if you've never worked through that before. I feel like that's going to be helpful. So, let's see, I'm going to fix the lighting a bit. You know, I've got like 7 lights going in here this evening, so, and it still doesn't seem like it's enough, but, hey Lauren, welcome back. Nice to see you again. Lauren's my mod, so if there's any issues, although there hasn't been any trolls the last few streams, so that's good. Getting started. Yeah, let's see. Still not enough lighting. I'm just gonna take this out. It's working before the stream, can you tell? Oh my god, why is this so difficult? Okay, there we go. Okay, just watch me crouch, thread my machine. I just like to leave the light bulb off so it's easier for you guys to see. Where was I? What am I doing? Oh yeah. Alright, good to go. So we can go ahead and get started. Should be pretty easy tonight. We're just chilling. Nope. It's my... interesting. Okay. You know, we're still learning. I'm still practicing on how to do these live streams, so we're getting there. Right? The goal is always to do just a little bit better than last time. Alright, so I think I'm going to start. This just looks like a brown blob. So this is that, if you weren't here last week, this is chocolate brown linen from fabric-store.com. And so this is the main skirt front piece here. So to get started, I'm just going to move my phone out of the way. I'm just going to pin all my pockets in place, which I had out, thinking I was being extra organized. Aha. Too organized. It's the problem with having a blob of brown fabric just laying on the ground here. Yeah. So let me see here. Are you working on another 60s suit, Serena? Yeah. So to start, you're just going to sew it like you would basically a normal pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and just pin these on like you would normally. I did draft these pockets. The ones in the charm pattern themselves actually aren't size graded, so I found I need to make them a little bit larger. That was the only thing I was kind of disappointed in, that the pockets weren't graded. And then I did bring the pocket up to the waistband so it wouldn't be flopping around. So this is kind of a pocket of my own drafting. I use this really often. I much prefer when pockets are anchored into the waist seam, because then when you throw your phone or something in the pocket, you know, it's not dragging down the side seam of your skirt. It's anchored to the waistband. It's better for the life of your garment too. You know, you don't get those kind of drag lines happening. 1955 suit. Very cool. Very cool. Is it like a big skirt or like Dior style? All right. Just gonna pin this on. I am having a little bit of allergies still this evening. I'm better than last week, but I do have some tea, so I'll probably be sipping some tea throughout the live, because my voice is a little bit croaky, as you can probably hear, but I'm gonna do my best. So, I hope you also have a nice hot beverage. Alright, maybe I'll just do the front first, and then we'll move on to doing the sides individually, so it'll be easier to switch back and forth. A straight skirt, nice. Lauren says she watched a cute film on the plane from Europe called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. There's some nice sewing clips in the movie. Yeah, it's always fun when they include sewing in the movie. I know, I think there was a Bernadette Banner YouTube video where she did a whole breakdown of whether people were actually sewing in a movie or not and how well they were doing, which was pretty funny. So it's like, what are you doing? Are you back tagging? Like, it's like when people fake play the piano. All right. So let me pull the machine in here. Had my serger out earlier, so my foot pedal's in a weird place. Still trying to get used to the serger. I just don't know. I don't know if I'm there yet. Let's see. Stitch length, probably a reasonably normal stitch length. So to start off with French seam pockets, so this pattern has a standard 5/8 inch seam allowance, And so what that means, like when you're doing a French seam, is you sew it in 2 passes. So the first pass, I'm going to sew this at like 2/8, like 1/4 of an inch. And then my second pass, I'm going to sew at 3/8 so that it covers up the first section. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the first pass at our 1/4 inch here. I don't have this quite lined up perfectly. Oh, hello, Psycho Cat. Nice to see you again. I'm glad you could join us. It's nice to see some familiar faces in the chat. Yes, please say hello if you are just joining us. And let me know what you're working on. I'd really love to hear that, because I think that's half the fun of these streams, is that we can kind of all hang out and sew together, work on crafts, you know, if you're making dinner or whatever. So that's kind of the whole point of these streams, is to get some dedicated sewing time in every week, or crafting, or whatever you're working on. And thank you for joining me. All right, so yeah, so I'm gonna sew this at 1/4 of an inch to start off with. So it's a little bit hard to see in this chocolate brown still. Note to self. But so for me, I have like a divot in my foot where that 1/4 of an inch line is. I'm probably going to start off just off the pocket so I can see where my stitch line is. And I already set that. Okay. Let's grab my pins here. Preferably not before I run over them. Although I do it all the time. I'm really bad about that. The skirt won't fall off the table. Didn't really need to back tack. I just always back tack. Let's see here. Awesome. Alright, let's do the other side here. Oh, and this is the thing with linen, it's just so shifty. Even though I pinned it, it has just shifted out of place already. Not annoying at all. Should have pinned one side at a time. Alright. Just matching up the side seams here. Might be a bit better. It's like every time I let go, it just squidges out of place. So much concentration. Alright. And we're gonna go again at my 1/4 of an inch here. And like, why is it making funny noises? Oh, we got an issue. Not sure what's going on there. I think my bobbin got stuck in the bobbin casing here. I don't know. I find with this old machine, sometimes the bobbin gets flipped around. I don't really know why that is. But if I just thread it and reset it, it fixes itself, which I don't know why that is. I'd be curious to know what you guys sew on. I know this is the original machine that I got from my, that was my Nana's originally. This is like the machine I learned to sew on, actually. So, it is a comfort in that way, but it is getting a little long in the tooth. It is my age, basically, so bear with it at times. Although I know people sew on like antique machines, so I don't know if it's just I took it in a while ago and had them look at it and they're like it's fine. So not sure. I feel like I will need a new machine eventually, but we're getting there. Sorry, do you, I don't think I'm gonna finish tonight, no, unfortunately. If I think I'll probably end up just French seaming the skirt tonight, and then, next week we'll probably do the bodice. We'll see how far we get. But it'll probably be another part next week, so, because then, yeah. French seams take time, and there's gonna be a lot of ironing tonight, so, but, it seems like it would be helpful to everybody to see how I do the French seams, so. You're so tired, like you can hardly move to your sewing room to start the hem. Yeah, I feel that. I was trying to work on the hem of that other one that we finished before in the other stream because it's ready to hem, but I was like, I don't have it in me. Oh, Psycho Cat says I have a brother, 6009 or whatever. Love something a bit more heavy duty in the future. Yeah, that is one of the major reasons I haven't replaced this machine. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'd ever get rid of it, to be honest, just because it was the first machine I've ever sewed on. It was my Nana's, but, and it is really nice because it's all metal, so this thing will sew through pretty much anything, but its buttonholes suck. They are not pretty in the slightest. So all right, stage 1 complete. Now, so what you do, so we have to switch gears here. There's no problem with doing the French seams on camera here. So we're going to need to switch gears a couple times. I'll probably do this front chunk and then we'll do both sides together, just so that I just thought for the first one we'll walk you through this fully. So what you do is I have my seam here that I just sewed, and I've got my iron ready to roll here if it's not like stuck on the other skirt piece here. There we go. Serena says I need an older one. The buttonhole attachment makes a lovely buttonhole. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have been looking at a lot of those like 60s ones that are painted in fun colors. But I haven't really found any yet. I was also thinking about, like, I know some gals still sew on those like 99Ks, like the super old ones. So, but then it's like getting a guy to fix it and repair it. Although I've got a better place to go do that now. Alright, so all I'm doing is I'm pressing this forward towards the pocket. And then what I'm going to do is you kind of see where the overlap is of the seam allowance. It's kind of why I like to stitch over. Maybe that is a little hard to see. So I stitched a little over here. So I'm just going to clip into it this little amount. That 1/4 of an inch. I like to do this in 2 stages. It's probably anal. You could probably clip all the way through if you wanted, but so what you're going to do is fold this over and press it again flat so that you want this seam as smooth as possible here. Where am I on camera here? So that see, and I already mucked it up because you want to try and get it super flat, so you want to get it right on the seam here. So I ironed it a bit off. Let me just fix this one part here. There we go, that's a bit better. Because you don't want to catch any of the fabric in the seam, because then that'll throw off your seam allowances. It's probably not the biggest deal on this one just because it is such a wide skirt, but it's good practice. So folded it one way, folded it the other way. Now you don't probably need to pin this, but I am going to throw just a couple in here just to hold it in place. Around my hot iron precariously. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Sew in a Carol says, I sew in a Husqvarna 100. Does what I need to do, but nothing fancy. Have a Singer treadle heading on your way in a couple of weeks. Ooh, that's exciting. I've always wanted to try that out. I mean, in my apocalypse brain, I want to try that out. Like I'm some sort of pioneer woman. But yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't do it all the time. Seems like a good workout to treadle. Good workout on one leg. Serena says, I have a Singer from 1910 and it sews beautifully. Yeah, 1928. Really excited about getting it from Carol. Yeah, I'm excited about some of those older machines, you know. I think I might have to get one at some point. I found a good sewing machine shop in town where the guy does a bunch of stuff. And there is another antique guy that I was looking at. So, because I'm not much, I mean, I don't know. I could probably repair one myself. I've done a lot of like, well, I just did some like lamp repair and stuff today, even for the stream. So, I've done a lot of that type of wiring and stuff repair, but I have faith I could figure it out, I guess is what I'm saying. But just looking after those old machines with the belts and everything is the only part, but it's fine, right? I'll figure it out. I'm a millennial. I can do it. I can get along with Google, right? That's how this works. Psycho Cat says, I love vintage sewing machines. Maybe someday. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, the only downside to them is they're super heavy. I mean, not that that thing's particularly light, but depends. I mean, I'm also torn because I really do love some of the modern machines with all the, you know, embroidery stitches in them. But I'm like, also like, how much would I really use that? So, alright. So I'm going to throw a couple pins in this one too, just for sanity's sake. Alright, sweet. I'm going to fold this up. In my dream studio, I just have them all, right? I've got a vintage machine and an embroidery machine and just that and the other. You can totally repair it yourself. They were made for the user to service. See, there you go. Yeah, that is one thing about the machines. Like when I bought my serger, I was really concerned. Like I went to the oh, what's the really fancy ones? I think I went and looked at the baby locks with the air threading, and I was just really concerned that like something would get sucked up in there and then it would wreck itself and then I'd have to take it in and it would be a whole thing because I can't really get in there myself to look at it. So I don't know. It's always a concern with like some of those. If they get too high tech, it's hard to repair. And I'm hard on my machine, so, you know, metal would be best for me for sure. The manual is very detailed and available online. Yeah, see, maybe you're like, yeah. See, you're egging me on to give it a go, is what I'm hearing. I feel like I'm into it. Okay, so next pass, I'm going to sew at 3/8 so that we're 1/8 longer than what we just sewed. And that'll make sure that everything is locked in the seam. So you're actually going to sew on this seam that we just ironed. Like this. It's like, let's get into actually explaining things. So I've just ironed this seam. Can we see it? Again, not sewing on fabric this dark again. So I'm going to put this ironed edge through here at 3/8, and then this will ensure that all my raw edges are caught in the seam. So it's a really nice finish, especially if you're doing like lightweight fabrics, like if you've got a sheer fabric or you've got some like nice rayon or voile or something. This is a really good finish for that as well. This is probably the heaviest that I would go in a true French seam, this medium weight linen. And you can do these bigger or smaller. This is just based on standard 5/8 seam allowance. Where'd my nippers go again? This is the perpetual problem with me on live stream. There we go. You can do it wider as well. I know like, I know Angela Clayton online is someone that like always does French seams on her projects. And she always does like 1-inch seam allowances. So she's able to do like 1/2-inch French seams. But yeah, so there's one down. So you can see, so it'll look like that on the inside. So really quite nice. Got a nice flat, and we're going to iron this forward again and do some top stitching still so that, or under stitching so that it sits forward. But it looks really clean on the inside. And then again, nice and smooth on the outside. So, and I'm going to and then I'm just going to clip in again. So you can kind of, I don't know, can you see that? I always like to stitch just a little bit over so that I clip this up to the stitch line and don't go past. So again, it'll stop this edge from fraying like that, so that I have a clip in to make this turn for the pocket. So there's like the little gap there, you can kind of see. And then my extra stitching, I'll keep it in place where I've gone just past the pocket there. Like so. Sort of. Can you see? I'm trying to help you see. Yeah, there we go. So you can see where I've got it just clipped here. Right to where the stitching line is. So that'll keep that clip from going in any further, and that'll allow me to make the corner on the French seam when we go to do the full outside of the pocket. Oh, hey Kara, thanks for joining us again. Serena, yes, save the machines, yes. Carol, is that linen hard to work on a curve? A little bit for sure. It is pretty wibbly because this is 100% linen. It's slightly heavier weight. It's a mid-weight, so it's not quite as bad. You can also stabilize it with starch. It does take starch exceedingly well because it's a natural fiber, so you can starch the shit out of this too if that's easier. I'll often I think this has a little bit of starch in it. You can kind of see, because I did iron it out with a little bit of starch before I cut out. Hey Kara, watching football and just lurking here, but wanted to say hi. I do really appreciate it. Means a lot to at least show up and lurk. I don't mind. It's just, I love hearing what people are talking about, so it doesn't feel like I'm alone in my cave. So, alright. So let's go ahead and do the other side here. Should have pinned this the other way, but whatever. Just gonna go ahead, do the same thing. So at 3/8. Is the machine in a good place? Sorta, kinda. Make sure that's lined up. It is important to stay on your seam allowance when you're doing French seams. Just because if you go under, of course you're not going to catch your seam inside. So... Psycho Cat says, I forgot about starch. I should try it with my next corset. It will be linen. Yeah, I would 100% starch that. I would iron it with some heavy starch for sure. If you're going to do anything curved like that with linen. That'll probably save your brain, to be honest. I've been experimenting a lot with starch, actually, and it is sort of old school, but it's definitely a game changer to use starch. I have one older video up on doing starch on my channel where I starched some rayon too, and that was really good because I love wearing rayon but hate sewing with it. So I've been playing around a lot with starch. I'll probably end up making some more starch bath too. Hello! My mom is on here. Thank you. So this is the dress that I've got on. This is one I think I made on my second video on my channel. So I do have a video up on this. It's the Cashmere Turner dress, although I've done like a pleated skirt on it instead, so I show how to do like skirt pleat math and all that. Psycho Cat says I can just add cornstarch to water. You can just add cornstarch to water. I find it works better if you heat it up. So you can heat it up on the stove to cook the starch. That's what I've seen online, and that seemed to work pretty well. You can also just like buy starch in like an aerosol. I have it kicking around over there. I can probably go grab it here in a minute. But yeah, so I just clipped the edge there again. That little corner bit. So we're ready to go. So I'm just gonna do the other two, sew the other two pockets on, and then we'll iron all the things. There's gonna be a lot of ironing tonight, guys, sorry. But you guys picked the French seams, so I'm just doing what you guys wanted. Well, or last week's chat wanted. Alright. This just looks like a chocolate colored blob. Let's get out both chocolate colored blobs. Carol, I never knew that. Yeah. Yeah, so there's different strengths of it. I've been playing around. I haven't found the perfect recipe yet, I don't think, for starch, but we're getting there. So I can't really recommend a recipe. There are a bunch online, and you can play around with the strength of it. I think it's like a tablespoon to a cup or something is strong starch, but if you find a good one, let me know. Because like I say, I've still been playing around with it. I haven't quite mastered it yet. I've still been relying on the liquid starch that's in the... I do like the aerosol one for doing ironing, because I think it gives you a nice finish. If I'm just ironing it on. Why? So this is one of the issues with linen. It's just so shifty. Hold on, guys. It's like I can't even pin the pocket on here. Kara says I have concentrated starch and I add water to it for my mister bottle, but used up most of it. Can do stiff or not, how much I add. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I have the one I used in my video that I did on starching, and the one I've been using, because I still have a little bit left, is that Staff Flow. That's a liquid starch, that you can thin out and put in a mister bottle. I think I need a better mister bottle is more the issue. I hate when you get like a drop of starch on something, or you just have this stiff, like, patch. So I feel like the quilters have it like down. Like, I feel like all the things I've read that seem to work the best have been on like quilting forums on how to do starching, because it seems like they starch more than garment sewers, oddly. Probably because they're cutting tiny pieces and it's annoying. But does using starch ever gunk up your needles? I haven't found that it does. It does gunk up the plate of your iron occasionally. That's the only thing I have found. Not really my needles, although I change my needles pretty often, so. But yeah, it does occasionally gunk up my iron plate. That's the only thing. But then I will, usually if you just put like a cloth with some water on like a warm iron and just like wipe it off, it usually comes off no problem. Oh, you use a mister bottle that you got from a salon supply shop in quilting for your best press. That's a really good idea. I love those mister bottles. That is actually kind of brilliant, because I have one of those for doing like my hair and stuff. That's a really good idea. Brilliant idea. All right. So we are back, so I'm gonna sew 1/4 inch again, put the pocket on. This is the only thing, you gotta like really keep it straight in your brain, like 1/4 inch and then 3/8 or whatever you're doing. Like, again, if you're gonna do like inch seam allowances, it could be half and half, like whatever works best for you guys, but standard seam allowance, 5/8, it's like 1/4 and then 3/8. So I am sewing at 1/4. Go. Best press doesn't gunk up anything since it's starch alternative. Yeah, okay, so I think that's... Do I have best press? No, I've got this other Niagara one. Okay, that's maybe why. That one's a little bit... I think the breast press is better. Terrial Magic. What is Terrial Magic, Kara? I think I'll work on the leather soles I'm putting in a pair of slippers. I made it for my dad while I wait for dinner. Ooh, cool, Psycho Cat. Yeah, I've never made shoes before or anything like that. I feel like that's been semi-trendy lately. I've seen a whole bunch of people trying to make like shoes or sandals. Terrial Magic. It keeps knit from rolling. Oh, that's really cool. I've never heard of that. I'll have to look that up. Because I hate that. Where'd my nippers go again? Is this just like the perpetual theme where I'm like looking for my nippers all stream, every stream? It's just like... There we go. One down. One more to go. It's hard to find starches lately in Canada. Your mom said when I was wanting to start crocheted snowflakes using cornstarch boiled in water. It's what my grandma used to crochet. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing around with, is the water in the starch in the water. So I just haven't figured out, I don't think I figured out the perfect ratio yet of the starch in the water. But I think I definitely want to do that for the next batch of rayon I do, because I think it took like basically a cup of starch, which seemed like a lot considering the starch is pretty expensive to buy. And I'm like, I know it's just cornstarch, so why are we making it so expensive? Now, what side? Let's just make sure I'm like doing the right thing here. So I sewed this one towards my chalk marks. Does it matter? Does it matter? Let's just do it like that to be sure. Just paranoid that I'm gonna get this on the wrong side. That's the worst. Okay, so if I have it this way, if I pin it, so let's pin it to the other side. Okay, pin it to this side, go. Pin it where you had it in the first place. It's the only problem with using fabric that's the same on both sides. And these pieces are so large I had to cut them out single piece, so... I hate it when that happens, sewing on the wrong side. Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody does. I don't think anyone's like, yeah, let's... It's like the most annoying thing, though. The worst is when you sew your arm in the wrong hole. Like you sew your arms back to front, or like whatever. That is the worst. First of all, you cut them both the wrong way. That's happened to me a couple times where I cut like one arm and then the other. At least that wouldn't happen with this because this fabric looks identical on both sides. It doesn't really matter, but working with a print or something like what I've got on. I think actually this dress I cut out 2 of the same sleeve because I wasn't cutting on the fold. That was the worst. So then I was like really low on fabric making this dress. Shit happens. You mark the wrong side with pins or an X with chalk. Yeah, normally I do that. Mark with pins. I've never marked with pins. I normally mark with an X, and I think that was the problem with this. Is that I think I marked it, but I didn't. It rubbed off, obviously, on this dark fabric. So, yeah, normally I'm like... have which side is the right side on it. Oh! Double stitched, over stitched, then zigzag. Then realized you had one layer on upside down and had to rip it all out in sweater fabric. Yeah, that sounds pretty hideous. I think when I did this one, I was working on the serger for the first time, so that was terrible. I think when you serge anything in wrong, it's just a bad time. That's why I haven't done I feel like I'm still adjusting to the serger. Like, I've been doing the serger where I just serge the edge and then sew it together. Okay, so let me just check this one more time before I'm like... So I've got one this way, one that way. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're good. Paranoia averted. Alright, I'm in frame. Cool. Not that I'm repeating the same thing at this point that I just did, but I'm trying to be a good YouTuber. Again, we're trying to get a little bit better every time I do this. Oh, long after the ripping is done. Yeah. I mean, you gotta do it sometimes, but it's best if you check and it's avoidable. It's like, let's not have to seam rip on the live stream, preferably, if this is painful. The other thing I was going to talk to you guys about was what kind of projects you would like to see on this live stream. I'm trying to decide what would be some good things to show. Like, I think one thing about this is it is nice to show, because I feel like French seams aren't something people show that often in full detail, but Let me know if there's like anything particular, like style-wise, pattern-wise you want to see. I've been debating doing like a blouse or something next, but either like a blouse or have just like a standard dress. You know, a few different things. Like I was like Rhapsody blouse, or there's the new one from Closet Core. I kind of want to make that one where it's, you know, might be fun to show, but let me know if there's anything that you guys would like to see. If there's any like, I don't know, or I guess like any skills you'd particularly like to see walk through, because, you know, I'm happy to do that. Because I mean, that's part of this too, is not just like hanging out, but definitely being able to, hopefully there's like some value in this of what we're doing. Alright, let's flip back over here. Flip over to some ironing again. This is, like I say, the only issue with showing this on camera is the machine, iron, machine, iron, machine, iron. A little sip of tea here. Yes, please do a blouse. Yeah, let me know what type of blouse you'd like to see, Alvia. I have a few that, yeah, I have a few that I want to do, but oh yeah, you can see how I just cleaned my iron off today. You can see how shiny it is. It's like blinding in the, it's like, ooh. All right. I have the very last of my Twinings Christmas tea. It's the Winter Spice. It's my very last little bits of my Christmas tea. I should have bought way more. But yeah, again, my voice, so appreciate you guys bearing with me and my allergies. I sound very nasally. Again, so how we do this, if you're just like joining us, I've got this spread out here. Can you see? I've got this spread out here, so I'm just gonna iron it towards the pocket. And then I'm going to fold it in and I like to try and like almost finger press it a little bit just to make sure we're on the actual edge of the seam. Because you want to make sure that you're on the very edge here. Just so that you're not like getting extra in your seam and making your seam allowances off. Just gonna press it forward without frying my hand, preferably. Something like that. Just gonna nip the first part of my way in. Just to the first seam. Pressing and steam facial at the same time. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not bad for my sinuses. Right? Just talking about allergies. I'm alright with it. I feel like I could use the steam facial, honestly. Kara, I was looking at one of the June Taylor cut and press. You'll have to tell me more about that. I'm not quite sure what that is. Is it like a Cricut? I was kind of interested in those, although like I kind of wonder if I would actually do that fully. Because I think it'd be really cool to just have a thing cut for you, because I hate cutting. It's probably my least favorite part of the whole process. So, alright, one down. Just gonna leave this other one in my lap for a minute, maybe. Well, go over here. It's getting wrinklier as we're working on it. Alright, this is the finished one. Alright. This one I'll leave. There we go. Try this again, preferably without frying myself. It's an ironing pad that you can flip over to a cutting mat. Huh. Oh, I'm very into that. I might have to get one of those for the channel, because I feel like I like this ironing pad. Well, and I've actually been using this off of stream too, because it's great just to be able to, you know, iron your pocket or something, like when you're understitching or something like that, without having to pull out the whole ironing board, especially because I'm in such a small space here. So I have been using this off camera too, but if I use it one layer, it is too hot underneath and melted my table cover a bit, so not ideal. It's not like super hot, but it's still pretty hot, so I would definitely be interested in something like that. June Taylor cut and press. Well, we'll see. Amazon, here we come. I'd love to see you make a blouse with a decorative tie at the neck. Huh, okay. Yeah, I'm usually not one for like a lot of like fuss around my neck just because my skin is so sensitive there, but I definitely will think about it. I do have a few where I'm like wanting to do some collars and stuff, although I haven't gotten that pattern quite sorted out yet. Jay Stearns Designs is the only garment person I know that uses one, but quilting has used them forever. Yeah, I'll really have to look at that. I'm very much into that. June Taylor cut and press, yeah. I have no idea who that is. I'm sorry. June Taylor Dancers? No idea. No idea. Alright, so what I'm doing now is, so this is the finished French seam on that middle part, so I just thought I would sew this while I have the iron out. So all I'm going to do is press it forward here towards my pocket. Just like you would if you hadn't done a French seam, so that it's nice and flat. Preferably flatter than that. Hold on. Let's try again. Let's give it a good hammer here. Alright, that's a bit better. So you can see that. So it's like really flat. I got a little bit of iron shine going, but that's fine. I don't care. There's the back. Yeah, smidge of iron shine. That'll be okay though. That'll wash out. It's not like major. Cut and press too. It's bigger. Is that this June Taylor thing too that we're still talking about? I'm like seriously into that idea. Anyone has any idea for these pressing mats? Like I say, I'm kind of in love with this one, even though it's like kind of mediocre, to be honest, but I still really like it. So, and I think it's good because then I don't have to like move around when I'm doing this in my tiny sewing room, closet office. Just tisk, Ashley, you darn millennial. Yeah. Generation everyone loves to hate. Oh, and I've got some loose strings from where the machine had a hiccup earlier. No one will ever know. It is fine. Cut and press 2 is 12 by 18. Huh. Yeah, that would be about right. How big is this? This is probably 12 by 18. Yeah, 10 by 10 is just for quilting, but for sure. But I think that would work. That's basically about the same space I've got going here, so. Alright, so that is good. Although I probably should have done some of these other ones and then done that, but we'll do that. Still getting used to what is a logical order to do this on camera so that it actually makes sense. I feel like in my brain it makes sense, but alright. Wool pressing mats. Yeah, I've seen the wool. I saw the wool pressing mats. One of the gals on YouTube here has Costuming Drama. She uses like a full table size. She actually bought like roll felt and did it that way. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of envious of that. I think the only problem with the wool felt is like, I don't know if you'd accumulate like water underneath. Be careful you get both sides. Some are just one side, then the other. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that being an issue. Although I don't use a rotary cutter, really. I think because, I don't know. I just haven't gotten... I've tried using a rotary cutter. I just am terrified of cutting my finger off, to be honest. Alright, so doing my second pass here. We're sewing at 3/8, which I'm mostly telling myself, to be honest. So this is the side skirts that I've already done a 1/2 inch here. Oh, am I fogging up? Is my lens fogging up? Hold on, guys. Uh-oh. It's all the ironing fogging my lens up. Please stand by. How's that? Oh, there we go. Okay. The iron fogged my lens up, guys. Sorry. Wool is great for having on your ironing board, but the other mat is better for a table, I hope. Yeah. Yeah, I really need a new ironing pad. I do really love my ironing board that's from IKEA, but the pad sucks on it, so I think I need to rig something up. I pretty much like worn through what little padding it had, so I gotta look at getting something to go underneath for it. What the? Okay, that was weird. I think my cord just wiggled out. All the technical difficulties again. At least the stream didn't go out. It's what my worst fear. Although I did that in my first stream, so it's all uphill from there, really, is kind of where I'm at with this, you know? Spray your fabric, don't put water in your iron. Yeah, I've definitely done that before too. Sometimes the steam is really helpful when you are actually pressing seams like this. I don't know, to each his own. I've definitely done it before. My iron was leaking and reservoir was shot for the longest time, so I've definitely done it. Joanne sells the cut and press 2 for $34, $37 on Amazon. Oh, well. There we go. That's what we'll be doing after the stream. You're doing great. Thanks, Kara. I do really appreciate it. We're doing our best over here. Oh, what am I doing? Alright, so that one. Does that mean I've sewn both? Sewn that one. Getting distracted. What was I just saying? I'm getting better at this? Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is the one that needs it. I knew there was another one. Yeah, one of the guys that I follow on YouTube that talks about, like, you know, basically how to do better on YouTube, always says, he says try and just do 1% better every time. And I'm like, that's kind of a great motto for life, really. It's probably one of the few guys I follow on, like, how to do YouTube stuff, but I just think it's, like, I just love that motto in general, where it's like, okay, we're not going to shoot for the stars, we're just going to shoot to do, like, 1% better every time. And eventually, we'll be many percent better than what we started at, right? You love that, Kara? Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a good concept. It's like, don't be so hard on yourself. Just try and do 1% better. That's feasible. I can do 1% better than last time. Did I nip this one? I did not. So again, just snipping. Taking the corner here. If you weren't here a few minutes ago, looked like we've got a couple more people on stream here. So I'm going to nip right to where that stitching line is. If I can. Maybe? There we go. Alright. Now I have to iron these chunks. Yeah, if you do one video a day and then in 100 days you'll be 100% better. Yeah, exactly. That's the thought, right? I definitely am not going to do one video every day, as I have barely done a video this month, but it's taken me a little bit longer. I'm hoping it's going to be out next week, so I'm really excited about it because I think it'll be really helpful. Because I'm doing finally, after putting it off and probably spending more work on things than I have needed to, I'm doing a video on making my bodice block and fitting it so that I have a good bodice block, which I think is super important, and I should have done it 100 years ago. But it's one of those things where I was like, well, you know, maybe when I lose weight or do XYZ, then I'll make a bodice block. Yeah, no, we just should make it. We just should make the bodice block. Do the thing now. It's like you're a big proponent of, like, you know, wear the clothes now, do the thing now. And honestly, I'm like, even if I do, it's easier for me to change a block that already fits me. So what are you doing, Ashley? So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a really useful video. I'm like close to done. So I hope you guys are excited about that. You're getting like the sneak peek, the sneak news about it. Definitely use it for my failure fear of garment sewing. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Lauren. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys being so supportive and that you guys are here every week. It's been really nice, actually, seeing the support on doing this. As I just about dropped the iron. So, yeah, I don't know. I really appreciate how supportive everyone's being. I had definite fears about doing this, but I think it's been good so far. It seems to, I don't know. Seems like people are enjoying watching me fumble around, so hey, you know, and I don't know, I've been enjoying doing it. It's been fun. I feel like I've made a couple internet friends doing it. So yes, even if we want to lose weight, we want to look the cutest we can right now at the weight we're at, which making sure our garments fit well. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I say that all the time, and it's like, I need to walk the walk, right? So, and I think the beauty of that is too, like, the way I'm making this, like, I could easily take it out or let it in or whatever, like, much easier than I would a ready-to-wear garment anyway. So it's like, what am I doing? Like, I'm gonna have nice big seam allowances and it's gonna be great. So, you know, it's like, make it now, use the nice fabric, do the thing. It's like goals for the new year, right? Concentrating on making clothes that fit me as well. Yeah, exactly. So I'm really excited about it. Gonna have dinner. Good night, Psycho Cat. Thank you for coming again. I appreciate it. Oh, be careful when you almost your iron, and my hubby looked at me funny. I appreciate it. It was close. It's been close. There's been a couple close calls with the iron, for sure, this evening. Alright. We are good here. So I'm going to put the iron down safely away. Have you thought about sewing a capsule wardrobe? Yes, I have, actually. I am sort of working on one. Not that it's super practical, but I'm sort of working on a capsule wardrobe. That's going to be really fun. I'm quite excited about it. This piece is actually one for the capsule. So, I mean, I probably won't be done until closer to the summer, but I think all my stuff, I mean, that's one thing. Like, I sew in my colors usually, so a lot of my stuff goes together kind of automatically anyway. But yeah, this time I'm sort of deliberately sewing a bunch of things to go together, so it's kind of fun. I'm excited about it. So, but yeah, this is one of the pieces that I'm hoping will go with it. Hi guys! Thanks for joining me. Alright, yeah, we've still got some time here. I'm going to be on here for another little while here. Alright. See you. So what I'm going to do now, since we have all the pieces at the same stage again, thank goodness. So what I'm going to do is do what's called understitching. So, and this is something that helps keep the pocket forward and keeps it from poking out after you wash it. So all you're going to do, oh, and I have a bit of fluff. This is one of the dangers of French seams. You can sort of see it there. So if you have fluff and you don't line it up perfectly, you'll get a little bit of fluff sticking out. I'm just going to trim that off because it's not too bad. If I can find my nippers again. Godforsaken nippers. I need them on like a string or something, like a small child. Oh, bye, Carol. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Oh, thanks, Bandana. That's so nice. You didn't think you could wear a circle skirt, but you look so adorable in yours. Now I want to make one. Yeah, you should really try it. I didn't think I could for the longest time either, but I don't know. I sort of like them. They're really comfortable. And I feel like a princess, and I feel like that is more valuable to me. So, to each his own. I think it's helpful too, depending on my top. Like, sometimes I'll do like a half tuck with my circle skirt, and I find that's like, kind of helps a little bit, and it still gives me lots of volume on the bottom, which I think is kind of balancing. So, you know. You need a retractable nippers lanyard. Yeah, I'm like, how can I rig something up? Because honestly, it's driving me crazy. I don't know why. It's like so bad. It seems like especially when I'm on stream. Maybe because I'm like multitasking and I'm not thinking about where my nippers are. Alright, so I'm not explaining what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is, although it looks like a blob on the camera here. Is that helpful? Maybe? Kind of. I am just putting a bit of tension on them to keep the seam as flat as it can, and then I'm running a stitch just 1/8 of an inch off of my seam here. What fabric did you use on your circle skirt? So I also used a linen on that. I've been on a linen kick. The one I made in the last live stream was also this same Fabric-Store medium weight linen. You could go a little bit heavier than that too if you wanted. The other one I made was a linen from Fabric Mart, but I don't think they have that one anymore. But the other thing that's really great to make a circle skirt out of, which I've done before, is the cotton linen blend, like the Essex cotton linen blend. That's probably one of my favorite things to make skirts out of because it's still got a nice texture, but it's not as wrinkly, which is nice. Yeah. All right. So can we even see that? Maybe. Kind of. Oh, there we go. So you can kind of see that line of understitching there. So what that's going to do is hold the pocket into the pocket, like from the side seam. So it'll give you a nice flat side seam and keep the pocket from popping out. All right, one panel down, 2 to go. Let's repeat the process here. So same thing, I'm gonna set this up, and I've got a bit of fluff. It's no problem with linen. Frays like crazy. That's why we're doing this though, right? Keep all my seams in. Here we go. All right. Hang your nippers on your bobbin winder when you're not using it. Huh. Do mine go on mine? Not really. Maybe, sort of. Kind of. Maybe like that. Yeah, maybe they'll stay. Should maybe close them though. They're pointed at my face. I'm not in love with this nipper. I think I talked about this last week because I bought this one because my other nipper's gone missing. This Fiskars one. I don't know if it's my favorite, so if anyone has any nipper recommendations, I'm all ears. Are we losing bobbin chicken? No. Just sounded like it. Hold on. Oh, maybe we are. You're thinking of a cotton. Yeah, no, for sure. Cotton makes beautiful circle skirts. The only thing you want to be aware of when you're making a circle skirt, and it seems very straight obvious, but I'm going to say it now, is you don't want to pick something that's directional for a circle skirt because when you get out to the edge, it's going to be sideways. So you want to make sure that you're picking something that's a non-directional print. That's really the only thing you got to worry about when you're making a circle skirt. Otherwise, pretty much anything will work. I probably wouldn't pick like something super shifty like a rayon just in case, because that'll be painful to cut. It is a little bit painful to cut out circle skirts. But yeah, the only thing you want to worry about is you don't want something directional or like a border print or something like that where it's going to matter where the pattern ends up. I mean, I've seen it done with a border print where they wrapped the border print at the top and it does look kind of cool. You have to be deliberate about it anyway. It'd have to be a very specific print. So yeah, all you want to make sure is that you have a non-directional print and pretty much anything will be okay. Fiskars micro tip scissors. Huh. Okay, are they like actual like scissors? Like little scissors? As opposed to the like spring-loaded things that I just threw away again? Looks like the bobbin is slowly running out. You can hear it. Playing bobbin chicken. Small little scissors. Extra fabric to match prints or plaids. Any idea how much extra? So, I probably didn't read that out. Because I'm curious, and I can never find the answer online. When they say buy extra fabric to match prints or plaids, any idea how much extra? So, yeah, that's a loaded question because it depends on what you're making. So it sort of depends, because basically you have to lay out everything like one piece. Like you probably can't fit two pieces beside each other then, is usually what that means. So anywhere from 1 to 2 yards, you could always lay out your pattern ahead of time and like measure. I've done that before, because usually I want my pattern to end up in a certain place, so you have to know what the repeat is. If it says what the repeat of the pattern is, sometimes that'll give you a better indication. Like if you have a repeat every like foot or so, it says, you know, then you might be able to get away. That'll give you 3 extra repeats worth to deal with. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it is sort of but yeah, I would probably lay it out if you're really concerned about it, just to see where you're at. Because some of them will lay it out, it's like you've got one gore going this way, one gore going this way, or often they'll lay out like the front bodice and the back bodice. So, you know, then you'd need an extra, however long the bodice is, like 20 inches or whatever, you'd need an extra repeat if you want to center your print. So but yeah, I wouldn't pick a repeating or directional print with circle skirts at all. Oh, we lost bobbin chicken. Hold on. I knew we were going to, and I was trying to pay attention to find out when it would happen. I was so close, too, to finish. I was hoping I could finish that line before I would have to refill my bobbin, but no! I was thinking of making it more of a tartan print skirt, and I was curious. Yeah, I mean, you definitely can make... I find plaids are a little bit more forgiving, for sure, because they're... because you can get away with, like... Especially, like, you can do panels going different directions or whatever. You know, like, have print one way, print another way. And I don't find, like... doesn't bother me as much, like say on a circle, like I did make that plaid circle skirt, so you can see what that looks like. Doesn't bother me as much in a plaid for whatever reason, or like if you have a really small pattern, like I don't know, micro dots or something, doesn't matter as much. If you had a big print like this dress that I've got on, this dress I had to line up where this pattern is in the middle, and that's why I ended up making like a pleated skirt instead, was so that my pattern would continue going up and down. So something like this, I would want to make sure that my print was lined up in the middle, because it's so large. Like the larger your print, probably the more fabric you'll need too. Nope. Bobbin winding. So exciting. Does anyone have any questions while I'm just bobbin winding here? Isn't that the way always? You're almost done and poof, no bobbin thread? Yeah. No, I was really hoping I would just finish this pocket and then wind a new bobbin. But no, I knew I was going to run out before the end of the dress, but... I don't know. I know a lot of people like to pre-fill bobbins, which I should probably do for these streams, but... I also think it's, like, kind of annoys me when I have a bunch of bobbins filled with thread colors I don't use that often. So... I don't know. Like, because I don't know how much thread I'm gonna need. And you get to watch me thread this in the dark again. For Pete's sake. I put on a smaller needle this last time, and it's just small enough that it's annoying me. I probably should have gone back to the bigger needle. There we go. Do you prefer poly thread or straight cotton thread? In quilting, it's all recommended to use 100% cotton, but because apparently it can cause holes over time. I wasn't sure if it's similar with garments. So I think my theory on why they do that in quilting is a lot of times, I don't know if you do, but a lot of times they don't have you pre-wash in quilting. So my guess is probably because if you're not pre-washing it, the cotton thread would also shrink with your project and you wouldn't get weird puckers happening. This is poly. I use poly most of the time just because I feel like it runs better in my machine. It runs smoother and snags less often. I will use cotton occasionally if, I don't know, if I have cotton, or if you were gonna, like, if you thought about maybe one day in history you'll dye it or something. That's pretty much the only time I'll use cotton. I use poly thread most of the time. But that would be my guess for the quilting. I don't know why. I have never heard that it would put holes in it. That's the only thing I can think of. Poly thread's the strongest for sure. So I think probably doing garments. Probably doing garments, the stronger thread helps. Because you want your steams to be nice and strong, holding things together. So it's actually like a functional thing and less of a, you know, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm sure someone else will chime in, let me know, but that'd be that's my best guess anyway. Yeah. So, alright, next. We are going to put these things together. We're getting there. We're getting close. If I could get through... I was really hoping I'd get through the entire skirt today. I don't know if I'm talking too much or what's going on. Alright, so... when you put things together, and you're doing French seams, you want to stick them wrong side to wrong side, which will seem very backwards. Which will seem very backwards. It always takes me a minute to think this through. So I want to stick wrong side to wrong side. So, like, normally this would be... Okay, good. I had to freak out there for a second thinking I put one on. Okay, wrong side to wrong side. So, okay. Sorry guys, let me think this through. So, wrong side. Then I'm gonna put wrong side. It always takes a minute to think it through because it's backwards. Looks like I cut a chunk out of this pocket somehow. I don't know how I managed that. Huh. I'll have to correct for that. I don't know how I don't know what I did. I accidentally cut a nick in it. That's sad. Oh well. It's in the bottom of the pocket here. I already cut these pockets so deep. I don't think it matters if I make them a little bit shallower. Alright. You ever made much with lapped seams? Lapped seams. When you say lap seams, I'm trying to think. I've done... oh my god, it's totally escaping me. I've done the ones that are like on shirts. What are those ones called? I did one of those in my last video and I'm trying to remember. Oh my god, it's totally escaping me, guys. I'm sorry. Alright, so one of the things I'm doing too while I'm doing this is, even though I'm not sewing the pocket shut, I'm going to try and make sure that my pocket seam is lined up. So my pocket opening here. So I'm going to try and make sure, can you guys even see that? So like where the seam is, I can sort of run my finger here and see that they're matching up. So I'm going to throw a couple of pins in here just to make sure I'm holding that in place, because that's important that that lines up. Because again, that's going to make sure your pocket opening is as unnoticeable as it can be. Jean says, I pre-filled bobbins, but honestly it takes just as much time to insert the pre-filled ones as it does to just fill the bobbin and put it on. Yeah, that was kind of my feeling. I saw everyone raving about those bobbin winders a bit ago. And I was like, do I need one of those? Then I was like, no, you're just getting caught up in the hype. Like, I don't think there's any point to that. But, I don't know. To each his own, I guess. You know, that's one thing about sewing. Everybody does it a bit differently. Their practice and kind of order of operations. So, you see me doing something, you know, this is just the way I do things, for sure. And I might be not 100% correct either. Alright. Might do one side, then the other side, just because the skirt is so large. Might just pin one side, then the other side, just because the linen is shifty. Although I should probably pin this on the other side, actually, because I have that nick in the one side. Hold on. Alright. I have enough space to go over that, yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine that I have that nick there. I don't know what happened. I must have just been cutting something else and nicked it. So weird. Lapped seams. I'm still trying to think about what a lapped seam, like I've done. It's like I have to think about what it is in my brain. I'm sure I probably have. So I'm just being careful with my pins here, just because this linen is so shifty. This would be easier in a cotton for sure. Probably should have used, if I'd been really thinking, I should have used a linen cotton blend on this, but I've got all my bodice pieces reinforced and we're just gonna roll with it. It is kind of nice though. I do love how soft the linen gets. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, you can see even just from these kicking around in the office here, how off that skirt already is. That's the other thing, the linen sort of grows over time. So I'll definitely have to like let it stretch once we finish. Use the bobbin winder because I can't get the winder to work on your Kenmore. Yeah. That makes sense. I feel like there's certain quirks with every machine where you're just like, yeah, it doesn't work, I'll live with it. A lot of people, when they see me sew and I'm using my nipper all the time, they're like, why don't you just cut it off on the back? And I'm like, the blade is so old on this machine that it doesn't work anymore, where you just like hook it. And they said they couldn't replace it, so... And I'm like, I've never been able to use it, so it doesn't really bother me, but... It's funny with the new serger, they were like, you should just lift it behind and like cut it off that way, and I'm like, I just don't even remember to do it, because my machine's like, my other machine has been like this for so long. I don't really remember. It's like, you just develop these quirks over time, it's fine. Alright. Watching me pin, very exciting. So what we're going to do is the same thing as before, so as when we were doing the pocket. So I'm just going to run around just like you normally would when you're putting in a pocket. So I'm going to run all the way around the edge of the pocket and then all the way down the skirt. But again, I'm going to run it at that 1/4 inch seam allowance so that we can flip it inside out and then do it again. Wrong side to wrong side. Yes, that's correct. That's why you have to be wrong side to wrong side, because when you sew it again, you're going to sew it. It'll be right side to right side, and that'll enclose the seam. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I hope I'm making some sense. So, bring this back over here. I knew this was going to be a lot of like switching back and forth between the machine and the... I love my Kenmore. Otherwise, I use my scissors too. It's more accurate. Okay, see? Okay, you're making me feel better there, Jean. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of... had some comments on that. And I've been doing, like, futzing with the serger and that. Sewing at a 1/4 inch, Ashley. Keep your brain on. That's the only thing I hate, is the changing of the seam allowances. I'm so bad about it. I hate when they do it even in patterns too, when they're like, sew at this seam allowance. And then they're like, sew at this seam allowance. We're getting close to the end here. It's 8:44. I didn't get nearly as far as I wanted today. I can stay on a little bit longer if you guys want, but let me know if you have any like burning final questions or things you want to talk about. I'm happy to answer them. I just want to make sure we get to them by the end of time. Love French seams. Yeah, I do too. You know, I really should. I don't know. I'm really... It's one thing, I really love doing a good seam finish. It's so nice when you get into your garment and everything's finished and they just hold up so much better. Speaking of, I think I'm gonna swoop in a little bit here. Go past my nick and my seam here. Yeah. We'll just curve it off, pretend that never happened. There we go. That's fine. We'll just go past that nick I made. Brilliant. Okay. Do you love that Sewing Plus Sizes book? I've had that book for a lot of years. Yes. I love this book. I actually brought it out to talk about it tonight, and I haven't yet. So I was actually going to bring it out to talk about it because someone was asking me last week about fitting books and things I would recommend for learning, and this is like a fabulous book. I think it is my favorite for sure. I've got the other newer one from Cashmerette that I'm got out of. That's the newer, like, newest version, but yes, I think this book is brilliant. I rented it from the library so many times I decided to just buy it here a little bit ago. And I think it's really great for fitting, and it's got like plus size croquis in the back here, which is really nice for like planning. My favorite part of this whole book, because we were talking about ease last time, I think, and I had mentioned this. So this book has this ease chart in it that tells you like the ease for like a first layer, second layer, third layer in plus size garments. And I almost think it's practically invaluable because we were talking about the ease in the big four patterns, and how they're off a lot of the time. And so one of the things I'll do is I'll measure the pattern and see where we're at and if we have like the correct amount of ease based on what's in that book. And honestly, I think that's been sort of a game changer. It also has a lot of things on fitting. No, okay. Of course I'm at the most difficult part while I'm talking about this. So what you're going to do is same way you normally would. So I just lifted my foot up here. I'm going to spin the project when I think I'm at about my 1/4 of an inch, which I am, which is awesome. Go me. So if you're at the 1/4 of an inch, I'm just going to turn and flip and go around the corner and then keep going. Cool. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Awesome. Of course, I was doing the most difficult part when I was trying to talk and sew at the same time. As we've been chatting, I've been sewing the hooks onto a skirt. It's a little off. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to leave it. Yep. You know, leave it. My hooks are... It's one thing I haven't gotten very good at is sewing those hooks on. I have gotten a little bit better. I watched, I think it was Kathy Hay do some hooks, and hers were, like, stunning. So I'm trying a little bit more, but... Yeah, the ease chart's terrific. Yeah, that ease chart is a game changer. And she talks a lot in there about proportion, which is nice. I will say one of the things about the book, though, is it does have pretty outdated language, so if that's going to be, like, problematic for you, that is just something I'm throwing out there. Like, obviously it says fit and flattering right in the title, so if that's going to be an issue, like... And they talk about, like, being plus size as, like, super size and stuff. So, yeah, so be aware of that. If that's going to be, like, problematic, I would say the Cashmerette book does a lot better job about not using language that's not great. But yeah. Yeah, no, it's really great. I would totally recommend it. And like I say, I rented it from my library, like, many times, so I would also try and recommend getting it from your library, because I would bet it's there, because it was in mine and they had a ton of copies. So, you know, you don't have to buy it at all. I had just rented it a lot, and I was working on that grading project, actually, that walkaway dress, and I was like, I can't remember. I need that chart again. Literally, I basically bought the book for the chart, and I've been reading back through it again. So, but I think it is awesome. There's a lot of stuff in there on fitting, and she does have some things on grading up and that sort of thing, or just, you know, making certain things a bit bigger. So, super helpful. These are definitely like kind of the two best books, and kind of the / only books on specifically on plus size adjustments. So I'd say even if you're like curvy, like if you have you know, like a full bust or full butt or anything like that, a lot of the adjustments in either of these books would be great too. Time to go to bed now. I've made 3 mistakes. Yeah, that's solid. Good call. I've definitely... Thank you for joining us, though. I really appreciate it. Yeah, the mistakes. Once you start making mistakes, that's it. It's time to give up. I definitely have a no sewing after midnight rule, so... Where'd the other piece go? It's sitting on top of the iron. That's not the best. It's a good thing the iron's been off for a bit. Alright. Yeah. You've had the book for 30 years, haven't gotten a look at the Cashmere one yet. Yeah, I would really recommend it. I bought it, of course, pretty much right away. And actually, like I say, my next video that's going to be out is going to be making the Honeyborn in the book, from the book. So that's really cool, and I'm really excited about it. It is really nice because it comes with, like you can kind of see on the back, it comes with the pattern pieces. Like it comes with 5 patterns. So already it's a good deal. I've made the Stanway sort of from it, and I've made the Honeyborn now, and it's got a couple other, it's got like a really nice shell top in here too, and a pair of pants. So it kind of has like one of each of the basic types, but it also has like a bunch of adjustments in here. So a bunch of different adjustment guides. And the language is a lot updated in here. It's got some really positive language in it, so that's really nice. But the other good thing too is it's got a code so you can get the PDF patterns. So I went and just got my patterns printed instead of tracing them off. So that was also really great. So I would really recommend it. I think for beginners, like I would say I'm probably not getting the most use out of it than like say a beginner person would get a lot of use out of it. If I had like a friend in my life that was learning how to sew, I would probably give them that book. It's great. 3's the limit for sewing. It's all downhill after that. Yeah. I cut myself off when I'm too tired for sure. Just need to get this thing out of the way. It's a lot of that tonight. So we're coming to the end here. I did get to talk about the books I want to talk about, so that's cool. Do you guys want me to finish sewing up these seams for before next week? I think next week we're going to do the bodice. So that'll be really good. I'm excited for that. I'm going to top stitch some straps, which is my favorite part. Top stitching. And then after next week, we're going to start a new project. I think 3 is my limit. Because we should be done by then. if not with a little bit of top stitching, and I'll have to hem it off camera because it's just too giant. But yeah, so then we'll start a new project. So let me know, yeah, like do let me know, even if someone's watching the replay, let me know if there's anything. Seems like people are pretty excited about me doing a blouse, so I might do that. That'll be a little easier on camera too because it's not as big of pieces. But yeah, so I gotta decide what blouse we're doing. I'm excited. I've got a few blouses kicking around. I'm like, I just don't think like for a full theme video, I don't know if that makes sense, but for a live stream, I think that almost makes more sense because it's a little bit easier and I can show you more of a variety of techniques in real time. So, but yeah, if you have been enjoying the stream too, I need to do the YouTube plug of if you're liking it and you're still hanging out. If you could hit the like button, I'd appreciate it because it does really help the algorithm. We are nothing but a slave to the algorithm, so, you know, please do. I would appreciate it. And I assume most of you guys are probably subscribed, but let me know if... Please subscribe. One of these days I'd love to see my little subscribe button come up in one of these chats. So we have to plug it, but we're just pinning away here in the last final minutes. Hanging out. Might even continue sewing for a little bit, although everyone's like talking about how tired they are and how they shouldn't show so tired. It's sort of like don't drive angry, only don't so tired. This isn't lining up as well as I would like. Oh, maybe it is. Don't drive angry, don't so tired. There we go. Shouldn't really drive tired either, but you know. Thank you, Cindy. Like I say, I appreciate you guys coming to hang out on the stream. Seems like we had a pretty good stream tonight. No trolls this evening, so that's lovely. Which is good. I don't know, maybe I will continue sewing one of these next week. Maybe I should top stitch off camera. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything particular you guys want to see. I think showing how to put the bodice together and lining the bodice is going to be interesting, at least. So I think that'll be good to show that on camera. But let's just move the pins, actually. Oh, man. Didn't have any weird bots tonight. Yep, good. No weird bots tonight. That's the way we like it. Thank you for sticking around, Lauren. You totally didn't have to. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jean. I'm glad it was somewhat helpful. I try to make these helpful. This is the goal. So you can hang out. Hopefully I learn something anyway. Or at least enjoy hanging out with some, you know, chill together, sew together. Alright. Finish pinning the last of this here. So maybe I will sew at least one of these, and then maybe I'll show one of them on camera here so you at least get an idea of how you manage the corner when you're doing French seams around a pocket. So we'll do that, and then we'll do bodice construction next week. You were good hang while I tackled laundry. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Eeyore. I'm glad it was somewhat helpful. I appreciate you hanging out again this week. So it was nice to have some like returning faces in the chat. Oh, thanks, Cindy. That's so nice of you. Look forward to the bodice next week. Got this pattern a week ago. Yeah, okay, so I think we were talking about that off. Yeah. Well, I hope you will work on it. I'll definitely post like a short or something when we're all done so you can see. I think that'll be fun. But yeah, I hope you can like work on it. Maybe you can start working on it with us next week. I think that'll be fun. I do really like this pattern. So, yeah, I'm excited to have this pinafore. I think this is gonna be great. So anyway, looks like we are at the 9 o'clock mark. Here, my time. So thank you everyone so much for hanging out with me and for sticking around, joining me again on this lovely Sunday. I hope I will see you guys next week for Sunday Hangout. And please bring your projects. I'll be excited to hear about them and your questions. Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone. Let me just get this set up. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope to see you next week. Bye!